Welcome back, Nerd Squad, to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers. If you happen to be new here, make sure you check out the rest of our nerdy channel, and if you like what you see, then tap that subscribe button for more. Plus, leave us a comment down below with which superhero you think is too overpowered, and stick around until the end of this video because you won't believe who we chose for our #1 spot. Now let's jump into today's list of the top 10 overpowered superheroes who need to be stopped. In at number 10, the Plutonian. Once considered as the world's most beloved superhero, the Plutonian shifted that perspective when he decided to go rogue. Created by writer Mark Waid and first drawn by artist Peter Krause, this character was introduced for the Irredeemable series published by Boom Studios. He shares many of the same powers as Superman, although much less is known about this once great hero's origin. It's suspected that the Plutonian was an orphan mutant or perhaps an alien refugee that has the power of flight, super senses, and invulnerability. His speed is said to be faster than thought, but that is far from why the Plutonian needs to be stopped. His vast unconscious psionic abilities allow him to control matter at an atomic level. If the Plutonian were ever able to reach his full potential in regards to his psionic abilities, it would qualify him as a hero that could warp our reality. In at number 9, the Homelander. With the upcoming show The Boys making its way to Amazon Prime Video streaming platform, we got to see this overpowered hero in live action and ultimately what the aftermath of a quote-unquote hero can look like. Homelander is the leader of a group called the Seven. They are largely depicted to the public to be the saviors due to their superpowers, but in reality these heroes have lost touch with humility and show little regard for humans. The Boys attempt in the comics and now the television show to finally put these supers in their place and serve some justice to those who have been seen as nothing but collateral damage. Despite the obvious powers that need to be stopped with the Homelander and his crew, it's their power of persuasion with the government and the media that becomes the real threat. The Homelander and the Seven face zero repercussions for their actions due to Vought America's protection. The company utilizes their government connections, legal jargon, and public relation firms to allow the Homelander and his pals to basically do whatever they want. In order to stop these heroes, the Boys are going to have to turn to criminal and nefarious means just to open the public's eyes as to what's really going on. In at number 8, Omni Man. Also known as Nolan Grayson, Omni Man was an alien born on the planet of Viltrum. Nolan was so successful in conquering planets for his home world that he was later put in charge of his own unit. When Viltrum began experiencing a depletion in their population due to a virus, the Empire decided to strike other planets to weaken them for a takeover. His first mission took him to planet Earth, where he met a man named Cecil Stedman. While learning of Nolan's powers, Cecil gave Nolan the moniker of Omni Man, Earth's most powerful hero. Due to his Viltrumite physiology, Nolan was able to harness super strength, speed, flight, interstellar travel, and so much more. Considering that he came from an alien planet to take over ours, we cannot allow such a list of superpowers to exist if we really care about our own survival as a species. Luckily, as powerful as Nolan is, he does still have his weaknesses. One of the biggest issues for Viltrumites is their vulnerable ears. This kind of audio disruption, depending on how strong, can cause extreme pain and even death for any hostile Viltrumite. In at number 7, the Confessor. Known as one of the most unrecognizable heroes of Astro City, Jeremiah Parrish worked as a priest before being bitten and changed by a woman he had met while tending to an injured stoneworker. He was hunted for this new affliction and remained in hiding until the late 70s when he heard word of heroes like Air Ace. Following this, he emerged from his lair as the Confessor, a sort of vigilante seeking to do heroic deeds. His powers range from immortality and teleportation to being an expert in investigation and hand-to-hand combat. A priest on his own already holds the power of authority over the word of God that so many take on faith, but combine that with the powers of superhuman speed and intangibility and you've got one overpowered superhero. Now this list is mainly of heroes who need to be stopped, but fortunately he already was. After a government agent was found dead outside of Shadow Hill, the mayor declared a war on the world's heroes. During a press event, the Confessor attacked the mayor but was caught midway and revealed to be a vampire, for which he was promptly killed via a spike through the chest. In at number 6, Spawn. Once known as Al Simmons, the highly trained assassin who, after saving the president from an assassination attempt, received a promotion to a level higher than even the CIA. Al soon came to realize that the government he was working for didn't have the public's best interest in mind, nor did they act on any moral level. Realizing that Al knew too much, he then became the target of assassination himself and was killed by his friend and partner. His soul was sent to hell because of the innocents that he had murdered on behalf of the government. environment. However, while in hell, Al made a deal with the devil and returned to Earth as a hellspawn with zero memory of his life before. The issue with this extensive list of powers this devil anti-hero has are that he wouldn't just take on street level ne'er-do-wells, but would also brutally kill the pedophile and child murderer Billy Kincaid. Spawn's spiritual powers allow for him to do seemingly impossible things, powers that are not only out of this world but extremely powerful. I guess that's why they call him Powers. He can't even be killed with normal weapons. This superhero needs to be stopped by an object from a spiritual realm such as heaven or hell. In at number 5, Bloodshot. Also known as Ray Garrison, Ray was part of a super soldier project started by a secret government organization known as Project Rising Sun. The serum that runs through his bloodstream give Bloodshot a number of insane powers, which include being able to heal trauma through consuming protein, which is probably why he looks like if a vampire took steroids. The main issue with this overpowered hero is that he was brainwashed with implanted identities for which the secret organization would use to motivate him for his missions. The nanites that flow through his blood give him the ability to camouflage, use a sonic scream, and have a malleable anatomy. Even when browsing through Bloodshot's history, he has taken part in many wars, yet due to the regenerative healing factor, he continues to dish out more and more punishment. Truly a superhero that is way too overpowered, and for the safety of all should be stopped before he goes rogue. In at number 4, Liz Sherman.
Oh no! Somebody! Help me! Help me! Somebody! Help me!
Now many of you may not consider a BPRD agent from Hellboy to be a superhero, but it's difficult to argue that Liz Sherman isn't a supernatural threat. Since first discovering her pyrokinetic powers, Liz has had a complicated history of completely losing control. Her uncontained abilities have led to accidentally killing numerous amounts of innocent people. Plus, it's the fact that her emotions are intertwined with her powers that make Liz a volatile and overpowered super. All of that aside though, if things truly went awry, much of that could be attributed to how Liz views her powers. Being raised as a Catholic, Liz honestly thought that the fire she can make with her hands was due to her being filled with sin. This did mediate her powers through prayer, but ultimately we saw the worst case scenario when at 11 years old, Liz lost control, killing 32 people, which included her family. So she's a cop that can start fires with her hands that are controlled by her emotions. Yeah, Liz needs to be stopped. In at number 3, Goku. Very similar to the origin of Superman, Goku, who is a Saiyan, better known as a race of extraterrestrial gods, landed on Earth as a baby. The accident altered his memory, and soon he would be raised as Earth's greatest defender and leader of the Dragon Team. As I mentioned, the Saiyans are an alien warrior race that conquer planets, which is actually the reason why Goku was sent to Earth in the first place. If it weren't for his memory change, the storyline of Dragon Ball Z may have ended fairly quick. Even without his memory though, Goku still has the inclination to train as a warrior every single day. His powers are greatly enhanced by way of his Saiyan lineage, and Goku is so insanely overpowered it feels as though there are really no limitations to what is possible for him to achieve. All of this though, you'll have to remember, is in contrast to what the humans he encounters are capable of. Of course, if he were to take on another supernatural opponent, things may spell differently for him. Regardless, someone needs to stop him. In at number 2, Saitama.
何すんだ誰だてめえカツアゲする気か買い物の邪魔すんな
You have to chuckle at yourself a bit when first looking at this bald, seemingly ordinary looking man. However, it's that innocence that lends him an advantage. Saitama is the main protagonist of One Punch Man and is by a mile the most powerful being that exists in that series. The plot is actually incredible because it perfectly defines what types of heroes we're looking for this list. Kate Baldy enters a self-imposed existential crisis when he discovers that he is too powerful to gain any thrill from battle. Oh my god, imagine that. A being that can do whatever he wants, but because of that, he's bored. I'm sure that would be extremely frustrating for any enemy that's on the receiving end of a single punch that shatters their world. He literally has a punch that would kill anyone unlucky enough to be standing in front of it, although we've never seen it in action because Saitama always stops right before his fist connects to their face. Yeah, that's too much power to put inside a character that looks like Caillou on human growth hormone. Lastly, on our number 1 spot, God-Man. Of all the godlike superheroes we think need to be stopped, God-Man takes the cake. Also known as Milton Baxter, God-Man was created as a satirical comic strip by cartoonist Ruben Balling. The tagline for the comic is God-Man, the superhero with omnipotent superpowers. Classified as the creator of the universe, God-Man has every power in the book. Plus, he wrote the book. He also meddles with the space-time continuum on a nearly constant basis, and one of those times actually altered the entire course of evolution in the universe. He has infinite domain over every universe and dimension that exists, with his only weakness being his extreme arrogance. That being said, if we ever wanted to stop God-Man, all we would need to do is feed his ego, making him an easy target to be tricked. Not sure how long that would work for, considering, well, he's God, but well, we'll take comfort in knowing that even far weaker beings could pull one over on this overpowered, omnipotent superhero. God-Man? Really? That guy's gotta be stopped. And that has been the top 10 overpowered superheroes who need to be stopped. Thank you so much for watching it. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this list. And for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that playlist on your screen. From Top 10 Nerd, I'm Johnny Rogers. Until next time, take care.